glowing green. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Trevor Murray, and I'm the chaplain at Good Samaritan Hospital and a friend of this family. And I'm happy to be with you today to serve as a master of ceremonies for this remembrance and this celebration. And I focus in particular on the word celebration because Ingrid told me that she's the bouncer. And the things that will get you thrown out by her is focusing on death or sadness or any of that stuff, all right? So we are here not to focus on that. We should, of course, acknowledge that that is what brought us here. But that is not what we are celebrating. We are celebrating a person who left a lasting impression and who had many, many gifts that she shared so generously. And that is how we want to spend our time, is to focus on her spirit, her connection, her inclusivity, her love for everyone here and those who are not here as well. We recognize that there are many others who could not be with us today, but are also joining in. So we welcome them as well. And we acknowledge that the effect that she has had is much larger than what we see here. And we are grateful for all of that. Did I get the basic points across, Ingrid? All right, you're not going to throw me out or anything. All right, good, excellent. So at this point, my basic job from here on out is to play one piano piece, which will come up later, but also simply to introduce those who knew Rachel much better and are basically going to be driving the ceremony from this moment on. So our first and next speaker is Lindsay. So I invite Lindsay to come forward at this time. I think it's on, but I'm not sure what it's doing. Just test this, make sure it's working. 2, test 1, 2, 3, check. Is it coming through at all? Check 1, 2, test. Yeah, it's on. It's glowing green, so that suggests that it. Okay, check 2. There we go. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, hand things off to Lindsay.
I'm going to be reading. Hello. I'm going to be reading some of Rachel's words about the traveling neighborhood. Curious, raise your hand if Rachel ever mentioned the traveling neighborhood. Just curious. Okay. This was a group and a concept and kind of an ideology that a small group of friends post-college, while living in Los Angeles, really wanted to form and grow and carry on. And I think even though the physicality of the group and the idea never really came to like true fruition, I think the spirit of it was really woven throughout a lot of things that Rachel wrote and did and how she lived. And definitely, at least I feel like it's very connected and a kind of a branch of our friendship. So this is what she kind of drafted as a mission statement for that group. The Traveling Neighborhood is a wandering arts collective rooted in intuition, intention, serendipity, imperfection, poetry, sustainability, hospitality, idiosyncrasy, questions, strangers, community, solitude, metaphors, music, and love. We live and share art in the cracks of cities. We explore grief and hope and ways of living beyond standard recommendations. We walk together and apart and together again. We blur lines and evade boxes and try.
I invite Jess to come forward at this time.
Because Rachel was such a collaborative artist, her family wanted the music today to get everyone participating. So, as we sing together throughout this gathering, feel free to add in harmonies or sing however your heart tells you to. We chose this first song because it connects us to nature in a way that resonates with Rachel's work and spirit. The lyrics are in your program. It's called And When I Rise, and we will do it as a call and response. You can join either part, so I'll start with the call and you'll respond, and we'll go from there. And when I rise, let me rise like a bird, joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. And when I stand, let me stand like a tree, strong and tall. And when I lie, let me lie like a lake, peacefully, calm and still. And when I rise, let me rise like a bird, joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. And when I stand, let me stand like a tree, strong and tall. And when I lie, let me lie like a lake, peacefully, calm and still.
I ask Heather to come forward at this time.
Hi. I'm going to read, I'm going to read some words of Rachel's from Early Morning Song, Lately. Lately, I've been coming to terms with the fact this research is going to be most valuable to those who come after me, not those who are here now. For many years, I made the mistake of thinking everything could intersect, that the work for the future and for now go hand in hand. In one sense, they absolutely do. In another sense, they really don't. And only recently have I come to understand that's okay. Most of us, I include myself here, most of us aren't ready for what is new, or maybe illuminated. We need it urgently, but we can't name it yet. We have no language for it, and that's okay. A lot happens later, after we're gone. The passage of time does so much, so it's the willingness to go out on limbs anyways, but also to find ways to stay in the present. That is the strange balance that I have had to find doing this work over many years. I have to document what I've found, not for my current colleagues or the people impacted now, but for even just one single person, perhaps yet to be born, who will carry forward the thread. Conceived and developed in collaboration with Red Eye Theater, September 9th, 2016.
There is a space I've heard between death and whatever's next. I imagine it must be like a great forest. I imagine it must be like a great forest. I imagine it must be like a great forest. I imagine it must be like a great forest. I imagine it must be like a great forest. I imagine it must be like a great forest. Great forest. Great forest.
I invite Bob to come forward at this time.
The years have passed quickly. My wife Linda and I have been very close to Rachel and Ingrid, the dear children of my sister Amy and her husband Andy. Our daughter Margaret was born just 2 years before Rachel, and some of her happiest early memories are of visits to Amy and Andy's home in Vincennes. There were summer afternoons of outdoor mud and water, engineering projects with spray from garden hoses that included action figures floating through homemade water features. Later came dress-up sessions with the family cats, Bip, Cody, and Calvin, who tolerated sequined vests and outlandish costumes with more patience than anyone would have expected. Ingrid often brought her own creativity to the girls' activities, leading Rachel and Margaret in recording radio shows, staging plays, and making home movies. A favorite was their version of A Christmas Carol. Ingrid played Scrooge, while Rachel played everyone else. In another film, Elvis's Brain, Ingrid again cast 10-year-old Rachel in multiple parts, including playing a character called Crumb, an alien, and then playing the actor Wallace Shawn in a later scene that referenced Louis Malle's My Dinner with Andre. Even then, Rachel had a gift for throwing herself wholeheartedly into performance, a gift she carried throughout her life. Creative and playful ways to manage disagreements. Once, when a family argument started to brew, she quietly placed a pink tutu on her head, declaring herself present but untouchable, hidden beneath a cloud of pink tulle. Tutu on the head became a family metaphor for Rachel's sometimes mischievous humor, gentle wisdom, and ability to negotiate moments of conflict. She was adventurous and independent from an early age. After her first semester at Hamilton College, Rachel announced she was taking time off to join a traveling music group overseas. Anticipating objections, she finished her case with, "So now, can we just talk about how positive this will be?" Her typically bold, optimistic, and forward-moving attitude carried her through many journeys that included studies in Los Angeles, Paris, Poland, and of course, her Master of Fine Arts in Playwriting at Brown University. Rachel became an extraordinary interdisciplinary artist and writer. She worked across theater, music, and visual art, always finding new forms of expression and collaboration. Her plays and performances were developed and presented at respected institutions across the country. She received numerous fellowships, residencies, and awards that reflected the quality and originality of her work. More than anything else, Rachel's artistry was about connection, creating spaces where people and ideas could meet, surprising each other and grow. She brought that same spirit to everything she did. She had a way of lighting up a room, always of thinking of others and making them feel welcome, included, and at ease. Even while navigating serious health challenges in recent years, she radiated joy, mindfulness, and presence. Rachel cherished her mom and dad, her sister Ingrid, Ingrid's partner Alex, and their daughter Rosalind, along with her and her wide community of around the world. I'd like to close with a poem by Rainier Marie Rilke. Rachel chose to include this poem in her graduation announcement from Azusa Pacific University. Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is, of everything, live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. We treasure our memories of Rachel with love and gratitude for her unfailing joyfulness, grace, and kindness. We will always feel her abiding presence in our lives, and we will forever hold her in our hearts. We will now hear a musical tribute, Peace for Rachel, that was composed by Rosalind Selby, Rachel's niece, and will be performed by Trevor Murray.
This is an excerpt from Rachel's piece from In Which and Others Discover the End. There will be no one like us when we are gone, but then there is no one like anyone else ever. A process, pretty, folds cascading, coming in waves and droves and veins and trickles. When people die, they cannot be replaced. They leave holes that cannot be filled. For it is the fate, the genetic and neural fate of every human being to be a unique individual, to find their own path, to live their own life, to die their own death. This is what we do. We cannot pretend, I cannot pretend I am without fear. But my predominant feeling is one of gratitude. I have loved and been loved. I have been given much. And I have given something in return. I have read and traveled and thought and written. I have had an intercourse with the world. I have been a sentient being, a thinking animal on this beautiful planet, and that in itself has been an enormous privilege and adventure.
Next, we will hear a recording of a piece of music written by her, and the name of the song is I Love This. It's an improv song, so keep that in mind. And so this was recorded during that performance. Anything else to add there?
Was part of her process developing some work for which eventually became part of the production for which Terry read
Gotcha.
the synopsis, and it's rough and fun, and that's her lovely voice.
Thank you.
We're going to build a song together now. Using the phrases that you wrote about Rachel when you came in, and some that people joining remotely sent in. And in the interest of time, I pulled out about 8 of them, but they'll all be displayed in the gallery. I'll teach you the tune we're going to sing using the word Alleluia, and then I'll speak a phrase, and then we'll repeat the tune with that phrase. You'll pick it up. And thank you for helping create a participatory artwork together today. And I think Rachel would appreciate this experiment. So the tune is Alleluia, 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 Alleluia. Radiant smile, Radiant smile, radiant smile, radiant smile, radiant smile. Ethereal kindness, ethereal kindness, ethereal kindness, ethereal kindness, ethereal, bright ray of sunshine, bright ray of sunshine, bright ray of sunshine, bright ray of sunshine, bright ray of excellent fashion sense, excellent fashion sense, excellent fashion sense, excellent fashion sense, excellent fashion, beautiful laugh, beautiful laugh, beautiful laugh, beautiful laugh, beautiful laugh. Vegetable soup at my home. 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 Listen deeply. Listen deeply. Listen deeply. Listen deeply. Listen deep. Blithe spirit. Blithe spirit. Blithe spirit. Blithe spirit. Blithe spirit. Alleluia. 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 Thank you.
I ask Bernard to come forward at this time.
Do we need this? Really? Okay. Well, I feel very honored. I've been asked by Amy and Andy, Rachel's parents, to offer some reflection on how the more general meaning of Rachel's life and of all our lives as human beings might be interpreted. To do that, I think we would probably do best by asking, what is it about human existence that would give rise to a question about its meaning in the first place? More often than not, it has been the poets and the musicians who have called our attention to that kind of consideration. One evening, some 3,000 years ago, a young poet and harpist named David, who would later become the king of ancient Israel, was seated on a hillock out in the countryside, watching over a flock of his father's sheep and observing the herbaceous floral plants growing all around. He was soon inspired to intone a song about the brevity of human existence, which has re-echoed down through the ages into our very own time. Human existence, he sang, is like a beautiful flower that blooms today and tomorrow is gone. In more recent times, we have heard some singers like Roy Ari or Brett James singing or adding variations to that particular theme by singing about how human existence is just a moment, just a minute in time. Neither David nor Iris or James provided us with any interpretation of what they meant by those songs. And to my knowledge, David and Iris and James did not try to enlighten us in that regard. He left that up to the philosophers, which might get me expelled here. When David was living, one of the predominant philosophical themes still circulating was the notion of the Mediterranean philosophy, which in its Epic of Gilgamesh suggested that because our life is so short, we should just eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. I doubt that David ever bought into that rather hedonistic interpretation. In our more recent times, the prevailing philosophy has been that because our time is so short and we never have enough time to do all that we want to do to make our life worth living, we should simply conclude that life doesn't mean anything, that it's absurd. Well, whether Aries or James themselves bought into that negative view of reality is doubtful. But I think we would all agree that there have been moments in our lives when we have suspected that there might be an element of truth in such a view of reality. But I don't think that that should be the last word. We don't have to give them the last word. The religious or whatever kind of love that we have for our own lives and for the lives of other people, I believe should challenge us to believe instead that no matter how little time we have to get done all that we have hoped to do, our lives can still be very meaningful. How that can be may be too complex to explain in the little bit of time that we have here this evening, but I would at least want to call your attention to one of the major implications of the more positive conceptions some modern philosophers and scientists and theologians have had. The implication, namely, that the main reason we human beings are here on this planet Earth is to participate in the revelation of beauty that is going on, or seems to be going on, all around us. Beauty, I know, has been defined in about 100 different ways down through the centuries of aesthetics and other philosophical studies. But in my own humble view, I think it was best defined by some medieval philosophers like Plotinus and Albert the Great and Thomas Aquinas, when they said that the major component of beauty is radiance or clarity. It is the luminous character of things and of human life that ultimately includes us to think of them as being beautiful. The truth of that claim was brought home to me a few years ago when some artistic friends of mine came home from a trip to Greece and were waxing poetic about the beauty of the temple of Athena, the Parthenon. They said it just shined in the light of the sun. That's what made it so beautiful. And I suspect that what they had in mind was something like what the medieval philosophers meant when they talked about beauty in terms of being a splendor of form underlying all the material proportions of reality. So how, you might ask, mere humans contribute to such a revelation of beauty? One way, surely, is to use whatever talent we have been endowed with to contribute as much as we can to the glorification of the world we all eventually leave behind. The story of David's exquisite use of his slingshot or other of his lifelong deeds as a great warrior or political leader, no doubt qualified him ultimately as the Star of David. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a six-pointed star pointing in every direction of our universe, to the north, the south, the east, the west, and most especially up and down. So when they referred to David as the Star of David, what they had in mind was to think of him as what they called the Merkabah. Mer in Hebrew means light. Ka means spirit. Ba means body. So when they spoke of him as being a Merkabah, what they meant was that he was a vehicle of light. They said David was such a vehicle of life because, notwithstanding a few wrecks along the way, he was formed by the radiant balancing of his human spirit and body in such wise as to instantiate a constant intercourse between the heaven above and the earth below. To this day, the Islamic community and the Israelitic community see him mystically passing through their history with the brilliance of a falling star, whose meteoric dust will, in the belief of many of them, fuse again to join in the polyphonic motet of Halcyon peace and tranquility, which by then, in my view, will probably be under the direction of one Rachel Halcyon. Early Christianity was sometimes inclined to identify Jesus as the Son of David, and they weren't only talking about his genealogy. They saw his incarnational descent into our world and his ascentic resurrection back to the heavens above, the perfect restoration of David's vehicle of light. And still today, we are invited by Christianity to be such vehicles of life by remaining deep down the little children that we once were. Uniquely beautiful bundles of joy simply by virtue of being alive. Eudora Welty, the dean of modern short story writers, once observed that when a short story is really good, it will shine by a light of its own. One, she said, might shine like the morning star. Another might shine like the noonday sun. And another, perhaps, like a full moon. Miss Welty, I'm sure, would have given the short story of Rachel's life a good review. For there was always something more to Rachel than just what she was doing. For in whatever she did, there was always an underlying glow of a genuinely unique human being. She was truly one of a kind, and thank God for that. For by simply being herself in whatever she did, she added a stroke that no one else could have ever added or will ever add to that big, beautiful self-portrait of God, nature, and all ourselves being painted in the world around us. So let me conclude, therefore, by paraphrasing the advice once given by the great medieval philosopher Ambrose of Milan on the occasion of a friend's funeral. We have loved her so much in life. Let us not forget her in death. Or, as suggested by the title of a song sung one Saturday night many years ago by Perry Como, let us catch her falling star, or let us catch Rachel, that falling star, put her in our pockets and never let her fade away. So thank you all.
Ask Kathy to come forward at this time.
Recently, I was reading this book that said preparing to pass from this life to the next tends to start with a song, an early morning song. It's recommended that the song be repeated 100,000 times as a instruction, and that's only the beginning. Which song? Well, you're right. There's a lot of different kinds, and they all have a place. But this one, you'll know this song. Wait for it in the early morning. As a prerequisite to receiving the next instruction, it's recommended that the song be repeated 100,000 times.
Before Jess leads us in the closing song, just a word of thanks to everyone for being here today and for supporting the family, and all those who had anything to do with this lovely remembrance, Before you go, if you haven't filled out the cards, the remembrance cards, those are available in the vestibule on your way out, and I believe that there are boxes to collect them in as well. So be sure to do that if you have not already. And also, the family invites you to Art Space Vincennes on Main Street for a continued celebration of Rachel's life. which begins at 5:30 and goes till 7 there at Art Space, next to the now closed, unfortunately, Old Chicago. So you are certainly welcome to come and enjoy some more time and fellowship with the family. And thank you all for all that you did and for this wonderful remembrance of Rachel. Jess is going to now lead us in the okay.
This is one of the songs we sang to Rachel in the hospital. We'll sing it together as we leave this space as a way to carry our love for Rachel out into the world. We'll begin, and please join in when you're ready, and we'll figure out when to stop. Thank you. You are so loved, Rachel, you are so loved. You are so loved. You are so loved. You are so loved. Rachel, you